Fellas, welcome back. Currently in the process of meal one, getting prepared. Chicken has just popped out, well, will just pop out of the air fryer. Fellas, we have a different meal this morning. We have a different meal one. Not really overly different. We've got sweet potato, tomato, bit of salmon, and then that bad boy will go with it all to top up the protein, and jackfruit. They didn't have pineapple this morning, so I got jackfruit from 7-Eleven. You're probably wondering what the fuck is jackfruit. That's much what I would have wondered when I was an Australian resident. Jackfruit is incomparable to any other fruit. It looks like this. I'll show you once it's on the plate. It is like nothing you've ever had before. I literally cannot compare it to anything. Oh, maybe in between, right? So this is the best way I can think to explain it. It's in between a banana, a mango, and a pineapple, which sounds absolutely fucking backwards, and I don't know how to explain it any better than that. I'm sorry. You know what I'm gonna do? I don't have enough room on my fucking plate. There we have it, boys. Chicken, salmon, sweet potato, beetroot, tomato, jackfruit. Now you're probably, oh actually, and, coffee, the usual almond latte. So, as you can see, nothing has really changed. A few ingredients have changed, but the quantity has changed quite a bit. And do I have some exciting news for you? Probably guessed from the title, boys, but prep begins. Prep fucking begins, or at least the deficit begins. This is technically maintenance at this point. My food's been brought down quite a fucking bit. I think this is, and Taylor is also well aware of this, is, you know, slightly below maintenance. So my body weight will start to come down. Already, I'm down 1 kilo this morning after my regular food yesterday. This is the first day of the new diet. And basically, rest day calories have been brought down by nearly 1,000, 800-ish. 200 plus carb has been brought down on a rest day, and then 200 plus carb as well on a training day. So I'm down from 730 grams of carbs to my rest day now is at 425. So a big old fucking drop, which I'm all about. Not that I'm overly hungry. Not that I'm overly not hungry. Like, my appetite is still fine and I could still eat that food fine, but the push-up's done. I'm in a position now where we have a little bit of a weird setup where, because of my circumstances and where I am, I can sort of just start to diet and pick shows as I get lean enough. I don't really have to like designate a certain show. There is a couple I have in mind, but like, it's realistically, if we diet for 12 weeks and I'm like, hey, I'm pretty fucking good here, we jump in. But there's a little bit of a different setup there, which I'll go over later on. But yeah, boys, the deficit begins. I will be not a puffy fucking mess for much longer, I wouldn't imagine. I think a lot of the weight that I have at the moment is permanent weight. There is definitely some muscle accrual that's been taking place, but where I'm at now is reasonably fluid retentive because of the compounds that have been used. And I think initially what will happen is there will be a big shift in the look. It's a hard one to explain, but like, the level of body fat I'm at now, I think, is slightly hindered in terms of it looks fatter than what it actually is. I almost have like that thicker skin look just because I've been constantly slamming food. I've had higher wet compounds, I suppose you could say. And I think that look will change very quickly. I'm probably going to edit this later in the week and I'll throw up some check-in photos from later in the week after a few days of lower food here, and you'll see that I'm quite a little bit tidier than previously, and I should hopefully lose the moon head. But yeah, food's come down a little bit. This will be I've got 2 meals that'll be like this, so these will be like 50 carb meals, and then I'll have a couple of other meals. Same sort of setup. My nutrition won't change. It'll be 5 meals. Protein hasn't come down at all, and it's literally just going to be slightly smaller meals. Everything will stay the exact same. What is beautiful about this is I don't have to live life to the 15th minute anymore. I don't have to worry so much and concern myself with, I still will concern myself with meal timing, but if things slip half an hour in regards to like I get caught out, and I can basically just live a little bit more of a social life, which is going to be nice. Eventually it'll get to a point when I'm so hungry that I don't want to be doing that, but for the next 8 to 10 weeks, life's going to be pretty comfortable, which is fucking beautiful. And that's sort of the purpose as well, is to give me a little bit of a freedom where I don't have to live by the 15th minute. I can, I can miss a meal by half an hour, and the amount of food that I then have to eat doesn't become like enormous and stress me out, which is lovely. But we have a big old chunk of salmon fillet, 180 grams, 80 grams of chicken breast, 60 grams of jackfruit, 50 grams of beetroot, 75 grams of sweet potato, and 50 grams of tomato. And it's good times, boys. It's fucking good times. I love me a deficit, boys. Meal 1 deleted. Very easy meal to get down. I forgot how good cooking the salmon yourself is. I've been having a lot of smoked salmon at Bartels, which if you're a regular, if you are, fucking my G. But yeah, if you're a regular, you'd see I have smoked salmon a lot, but I haven't had like a fresh salmon fillet before, especially before. I've had it before, but I haven't had it in a while. Probably been like a year. Skin on salmon. If you cook it correctly, that skin is fucking delectable. And I nailed that salmon. I fucking nailed that salmon. I asked ChatGPT, hey, how do I cook this shit to make it the best? Fuck, that was good. Anyway, coffee. Getting deleted. Stuck into a workbook, boys. As you fucking know, nothing changes. Literally just slightly less food. Feels good to be back. Welcome back. For meal number 2, full transparency, it is now 2 days later than the other video that I was starting with, because I finished my meal 2 on that day and realized I didn't film a fucking thing. And then I got busy and I was like, fuck it, you know what, I'm just gonna pick this up another day. But I'm 3 kilograms down in 3 days from lower food, which is wild. Now, obviously a lot of that is going to be just simply fluid weight. There was also a couple of changes to the drug stack, so there is going to be a fair bit of change in that regard. I think for sure, like I look a lot tidier in the morning. Again, a lot of that is just from fluid and holding less. But I think a little bit of fat has absolutely come off in those first 3 days. To no surprise, obviously, I've slashed my calories by about 1,000 per day. So there is a little bit more detail in the physique. My face looks slightly less puffy, I'm sure you can tell, which is a lovely byproduct. But we have meal 2 today, boys. Today's a training day. So you saw meal 1 on a non-training day. I'm just going to turn this into a training day, full day of eating. The only thing that changes in that first meal when it is a training day is instead of salmon, it's all chicken, and there's extra sweet potato. It's not a poverty sweet potato portion. I get 175 grams instead of 75 grams. But this meal is pre-workout. So we now have 100 grams of cream of rice with 60 grams of whey, 40 of which is in the cream of rice, 20 of which is on top. We have 100 grams of cherries and 15 grams of dates. So I'm gonna go ahead and slam this. I'm gonna run you through a full day of eating on a training day now. So I apologize about the last one. This is a little bit of a different pre-workout meal setup. Usually I'm at my desk, but I got most of my work done and I'm eating it slightly later because I am training slightly later. My coach actually arrived in Bangkok. So schedule's been a little bit thrown around, slightly different, still very much the same, but just different timings of things. So my pre-workout ritual is now laying on the couch like a lazy piece of shit, watching some YouTube, brain rotting while I eat, which is fucking not ideal, but I enjoy it. So it has begun. Glorious scenes. Boys, post-workout meal going down. We have actually a different one than usual. I'm out and about. Since the last video, I've had 2 homies rock up. If you remember, France, and I spoke about earlier, Taylor. So this meal is now, because I'm training with both of them, and they are not dieting, is a little bit more flexible for me. It's still very much the same as chicken, rice, and fruit and veg, but in this instance, we have gone to Gourmet Market where I've got my individual ingredients. So I've got 100 grams cantaloupe, 160 grams of pumpkin, 200 grams of chicken, all weighed out as I get them. And then I also have cooked white rice, nothing but white rice and water that I will weigh. And then I have 125 blueberries. And this meal is, so my pre and my post-workout meal are identical now. They are 120 carb, 10 fat or 5 fat, and then 50 protein. So post-workout meal going down, I'll mix all this together. Glorious, 3 grams of salt, and that'll be that. Oh, 10 grams of dates as well. Finished product, boys. Absolutely fucking glorious. Oh yes, we're back for meal number 4. Meal number 4, which is Very much the same as what you would have seen in meal one. However, this is the training day variation, which is slightly less of a poverty portion than the non-training day. Instead of 75 grams of sweet potato, it is 175 grams. And instead of salmon and a chicken mix, it is all entirely chicken. There is also a little bit of spinach on here and some pickled onion for some flavor and veg. It looks tasty as fuck, but when I was putting this plate together, it's a bit of a contrast between the old 400 grams of sweet potato that I was having. It's a little bit sad, if we're being honest. A little bit sad. But meal four, nonetheless, we do what needs to be done. Regardless, we just push on forth. Even if we're a little bit hungry, which I am, fellas. I am fucking starving. I am still eating 560 grams of carbohydrates on this training days. Yeah, 3,960 calories, so like 4K calories basically. And I am fucking ravenous. Like, when I tell you I'm hungry, I finish this meal and it literally feels like I've eaten nothing. So Pepsi Max, the Pepsi Max protocol has been introduced. So that means I will have about a can, sometimes 2 cans, of Pepsi in between my final 2 meals. Because, hey, it just ties me over. Feels good, tastes good. It's not so much like the hunger side of things. Like the feeling of hunger in my belly, I don't mind at all. I quite like feeling hungry, but it's the mental of like always thinking about my next meal, which is creeping up pretty quickly, and it's a scary thought that I might be heading into prep literally already fucking like I would urge on the side of saying starving. So yeah, tough times, brothers, tough times. Let's be real, it's not actually tough. It's a little bit rough. You know how it is when you're hungry. Anyway, I'm going to scoff this meal. Fucking starving, hungry, ready for this. Meal 4, deleted. Literally, fuck. Be lucky to have lasted me 5 minutes. And my stomach is sitting here telling me, excuse me, mate, actually, you're meant to be having an extra fucking 200 grams of potato here. Where has that gone? Not to mention the earlier calorie subtraction from earlier in the day or earlier meals. But that's part of the parcel, boys. Part of the parcel. We move on regardless. Now you're probably thinking, maybe you're not thinking, but obviously a little bit out of tune with my usual post-workout meal, having it out and about with the boys. Not something I particularly enjoy. Like, obviously the reason I'm doing it is because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy like training with the boys, going and getting a post-workout meal afterwards is fucking fun. It is the camaraderie, the joy that we get out of this shit. To be able to enjoy that with my mates, fucking priceless. And that's why I do it. Would I prefer to be at home eating my regular cream of rice with chicken and dates and banana? Yeah, of course I would prefer to eat that. But I would also be missing out on the joys of bodybuilding and the, as I said, camaraderie of training with the homies and then going out and enjoying a post-workout meal. If you've ever experienced that, man, those are the glory days. We are living in the glory days, and you have to remind yourself of that and utilize those times and enjoy them because they don't come around often. Obviously, for me, the past 6 months, basically, I've been, since Taylor left my coach after prep, been training solo. I've been coming home, living like a fucking hermit, which I love also. But when the opportunity arises for me to enjoy some good training, some fucking banter with the boys, we take the fucking piss, we have a laugh, and when the work needs to be done, we lock the fuck in. And that is honestly something that I enjoy thoroughly about this game. I enjoy the solo hermit, training alone, getting shit done, eating at home alone. I love that too. I love all aspects of it. But there's something so primal, I would say is probably the right word, about just getting after it with the boys and enjoying a fucking meal. It takes me back to the glory days of when I first got into the training with my first training partner, Jackie Boy. I don't know if he watches these, but maybe he does. They are some of the best memories I have with lifting is the early days, first training partner, first real friend that took this as seriously as I did and loved it as much as I do. And there is no better feeling than sharing this shit with people. I'd be stupid not to enjoy it while it's there, because there's going to be a time in prep where I can't do that. Obviously, right now I'm in a bit of a maintenance phase. I'm quite clearly in a calorie deficit, and I'm still tracking everything accordingly. It's not like I'm going out and just eating whatever. I literally take my scales with me everywhere just in case these things happen. I'm not always going to have a meal on hand. And this is the beauty of being nutritionally apt. I have the knowledge and understanding of how to eat out and about in a situation like that. I'm very, very lucky in Thailand. It is extremely bodybuilder friendly. Literally a salad bar where I can just weigh out chicken, weigh out pumpkin, weigh out fucking blueberries. Sometimes they'll have pineapple, they'll have different arrays of fruit and veg, and I can weigh it all out. There's no hidden oils. Some of the things do have hidden oils, but I don't have them because of the obvious reasons. So there's no difference to what I would be doing at home regardless. From a, decision fatigue side of things, do I love it? No, I'd prefer to just not have to fucking think. But at the cost of decision fatigue and a little bit more mental bandwidth to be able to enjoy that post-workout meal with the boys, glorious. Now, updates. So, I think I touched on this earlier, but yeah, I am in 3 days. So on Sunday, I weighed in at 113.6, I believe it was. We dropped my rest day food to 3,500 calories. So that's actually quite low. That's about as low as I got in prep, I believe, to be dick skin peeled. And my training day food is still a little bit higher than the lowest I got in prep, sitting at 4K calories. 560 carb, 60 fat, 300 protein-ish. My protein doesn't really change year round. One, I'm fucking starving, but this morning I weighed in at 110.1. So that is 3 days of lower food, and it's still high food. Maybe not relatively for me high anymore, but like 4,000 calories is like a decent chunk of food. And I'm dropping weight like no tomorrow and like visually changing very quickly. And that is something I'm noticing this time around. I've never been this locked in an off season before. I've never not eaten off plan. I've never I can basically say, apart from a few meals that I had to roughly track using AI and guesstimating, which I still overestimated, but there's potential for some incorrections there or some inaccuracies. I have not missed a fucking macronutrient for over 12 months, which is a whole new level for me. But what I'm noticing this time around is from shifting in that level of locked in to an off-season setting into fat loss, the changes are fucking rapid. What usually takes the first month or two to sort of start seeing some change, in literally 3 days, it is like, oh my fucking God, like vascularity instantly back, details instantly back in the physique. Now that's a lot to do with obviously, and so same with the body weight coming down, a lot of the artificial elevations in body weight that would have been coming through anadrol, high androgen load, high carbohydrate intake, and the fluid retention that comes along with that. But that usually takes a lot longer than 3 days to start washing off. And I'm starting to notice it very quickly. I'm waking up dry already. Hopefully, I'm going to take check-in photos tomorrow, the day after, which may be in this video. I'll try and have them in this video that you may have already seen. But I'm just instantly seeing the result of the drop in food. You are so much more responsive when everything is accounted for 100%, which has been fucking really nice. Obviously, usually waiting around 2 or 3 weeks before you start to see a bit of a change. And usually that change is negative. You're usually getting to that fat and flat stage where you haven't really lost much body fat yet and you're starting to get a little bit flatter. I don't really, I'll potentially get flat again at some stage, depending on how long the diet is. That's still up in the air, by the way. I don't know how much I touched on that. I will in a moment again. But the changes and the rate at which they're coming in is fucking rapid, which is obviously really nice because I'm feeling hungry. So to get a little bit of feedback and self-motivation in the mirror is lovely. My ankles have come back, which is nice. They were starting to get, I'd always wake up and I didn't really ever get edema, but definitely eating that amount of food on the growth hormone, obviously, as well, and then a lot of fluid retention from the wetter compounds. By the end of the day, after 12,000 steps, 12,000 steps, my legs were starting to be a little bit less vascular and they were the ankles were a little bit thicker, but they come back. I have vascularity through my legs all again. My ankles have returned. Glorious. I don't get that ache at the end of the day after being on my feet all day that I was getting. That's probably a little bit to do with body weight as well, carrying less weight, but man, what a time to be alive. Anyway, I have a little bit of work to do. I have some new client onboardings and no check-ins today. Actually, today's check-in free day, thank God, because I am fucking cooked. But I will see you for the final meal. Final meal of the day going down, boys. Let's be real here. Let's call this what it is. This is dessert. This is cream of rice, 100 grams. Let's get this in. Can I get it in angle? 100 grams of core in here. 60 grams of whey, 20 is on top, 40 is in the cream of rice. There is also 120 grams of mixed berries within this meal. Today is a mixed berry medley, so it is raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, and I think there might even be blackberries in there. It's very strawberry dominant, however. But I will rotate through berries in this meal willy-nilly. I will not think about it. I will just do gram for gram. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. That's basically it. I'll rotate between those, just get a bit of a variety. And then I have 35 grams of 100% dark chocolate. So this is my heavy fat meal. I don't have a whole lot of fats in other meals. I have a little bit of almond butter here and there. But I try and save, I think it's about 25%, 30% of my fat intake for the last meal of the day, just so I don't bog down digestion. That is what works for me. It can be different for everyone. And I enjoy having a nice big, either almond butter, cashew butter, dark chocolate, little treat in the last meal. I'm a big sweet tooth. And although 100% dark chocolate is not overly sweet, when paired with berries, rice, and whey paste, glorious scenes. If you are not varying, I'm done for, guys. I'm fucking zilch. I fell asleep on the couch after the last meal. I am fucking cooked. If you are not, adding in a variety of different fruit and veg within your meal plan, you're retarded. I hate to tell you. Anyone that says otherwise is an idiot. If you digest fruit and veg well, and you can get a diverse micronutrient variety through different fruit and veg, why the fuck are you not doing it? Do it. Anyway, zilch, eat this meal, pass out on the couch. Actually, not pass out. I'm not going to try to sleep again, otherwise I won't sleep tonight. But I will be watching a film of some description. And it's been another glorious full day of eating with the boys, Groundhog Day. Nothing changes. Literally nothing changes. Obviously, it's less food now. I'm in a calorie deficit, losing body fat, but nothing changes. Meals are the same, just slightly less quantity. And that's that. It's not actually that's that. We're back. It's now the following day. I figured I'd give you a little update. I realized I didn't really go over the main topic of the video, which is the potential prep / fat loss phase that we're currently in. Actually, an update this morning, I'm down again, 109.2. I cannot fucking believe the rate at which my body weight is going down. This morning, I definitely look tighter. You can see some striations coming through the shoulder. Face is much less puffy, but body weight is literally fucking flying right now. But I just wanted to update you guys on what is actually sort of the plan of attack here. So the actual plan of attack is 2 weeks of maintenance, 8 weeks of deficit, and then into a surplus. Whether that surplus happens or not is, well, it's pretty set in at the moment, but in the air. If I get to the end of that 8 weeks of fat loss, 8 weeks from that point, there is a show in Thailand an hour away from me. So that is a potential. However, if we get to the end of that fat loss phase, and much like previous preps, I'm still too small, we will make the decision to rebound out of it and have a little bit of a growth phase, a shorter stint growth phase. Rather than 19 weeks, we'll probably like 10 or 12, and then compete later in the year in September, October, November, much like last year. But that's still up in the air. I just wanted to update you on what the actual plan of attack is. I realized that at the start of the video, I sort of gave the intention that I was basically heading into a prep, which is kind of the truth. It is potentially going to be that way, but it's, as I said at the start of the video, where I live now and how things work competitively over this side of the planet. And me, I'm literally like halfway between Australia, between Europe, between the US. It's a little bit different. I don't have to be, okay, I'm doing season A because it's the only shows I have available unless I want to travel for fucking 20 hours, or I'm doing season B for the same reason. It's literally get lean, find shows, go to those shows, because I'm close enough to everywhere that I can sort of do that. And it'll basically be a play by ear type situation where if I am ready to jump in, I will. And if I am not ready to jump in, I will not. So that'll be still up in the air. But regardless, over the next 10 weeks, you will see me be getting fucking shredded. So glorious. The way things are moving right now, I literally think in like 6 weeks time, I'm probably going to be pretty fucking lean. Like I'm already 4 kilograms down in 4 fucking days. Someone explain that to me, bruv. And I don't look any smaller. It's not like we had a pullback in androgens. I went from a total load of 840, actually plus the anadrol. So 840 injectables plus anadrol. Anadrol's out. Injectables back to 380 milligrams, 400 milligrams, somewhere around there. Basically cut in half obviously trying to get a little bit of a health phase stuck in here as well. They will eventually increase back again. I'll keep you updated with that. But yeah, maintenance, which is actually me just getting fucking shredded, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, but, you know, involuntarily. 8-week intentional fat loss phase, followed by decision-making process of do we continue the fat loss or do we go back into growing, which is how things work around here, boys. Very fucking excited. But that's that. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you are still here, like the video if you're a fucking G. Let's go with comment EQ down below, boys, if you're a fucking real one. And I will chat to you boys in the next one.